Alright guys, let's take this thing for a spin. I actually kind of like this Fujitsu exhaust. It's super quiet, like almost stock sounding, but as I get older, I kind of like it. Makes cruising a lot more bearable. Ooh. A little bit of wastegate and blow-off valve action there. Let's see. Once we get on the main road here. This towel blow-off valve sounds just fucking amazing. Like, this is easy. I debated between this and the HKS blow-off valve for that kind of sound, and you know, I was back and forth, but I'm really happy I ended up going with this one because it just sounds so good. It sounds so aggressive, which I really like. I'm curious how different it'll sound once the HKS cat pack is on here. Sucks that I'm limited to 5,000 RPM right now. I would much rather be able to ring it out for you guys, but it is safer this way, so might as well play it safe, right? I don't know if it's because these roads are super uneven here, or I'm just not used to driving right-hand drive still yet. Maybe just my having driven it so much. But I find myself drifting to the middle a lot, and I suspect it's mostly more of a me problem than a car problem. Though I do suspect the uneven roads play a bit into it. I think I need to just get more a hang of it, because I do find that if I just kind of cruise over time, I just naturally gravitate towards the center of the road, and I don't know if it's, I think it's just because of me. Oh my god, it sounds so good. So good. Oh, I just realized my rear wiper is up. I'll have to fix that when I washed the car yesterday. Doop-de-doop. Let's pull over here and fix that real quick. Problemo solved. One of my biggest gripes about this car, and it's not just this car, it's any 90s car in general, Japanese or otherwise, is that the seatbelt retracting system is just so worn out that, like, you have to kind of push the seatbelt back into the system, and I have to look on Amayama, but I suspect I probably won't be able to find replacement seatbelts for this. And I know that any used ones I find are going to be in the same condition as these, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Can you rebuild these things, or what's my best option here? Because it's kind of a pain in the butt to have to deal with the seatbelt every time I get in and out of the car. And it's on both sides, in fact, though the passenger side is a little less worn, luckily. Ooh, sounds so good. I really do like this Fujitsu catback, but I think I'm really gonna like the HKS one better. I do appreciate how quiet this one is, but I don't know, it just needs a little something to give it a little extra soul, you know what I mean? It sounds like a four-door grocery getter right now, which basically is, but I don't know. We'll see. I can always take the HKS one back off if I need to. While I'm out here, I'm going to head over to the parts store and get some fuel line. Let me get this fuel pressure regulator going. We shall see. I believe the gauge that I was waiting for arrived, so we'll pick that up, and assuming the gauge is here and I can get this fuel line from the parts store, we should be good to go with the fuel pressure regulator. Hopefully get that installed today. Ooh, look at that nice little new 2022 BRZ. I like it, I like it. The nice thing about this Kent, Covington area is that it's super, super close to a racetrack. A nice racetrack, like circuit course. And as such, I think we're in the right lane here. And as such, you see a lot of really cool cars around. Like, even before I got this thing, I've seen a lot of like cool Japanese imports that probably illegal, you know, given that a lot of them aren't 25 years old to this day. But I've seen things like S14s, S15s, A86s. I haven't seen any other Evos, though I do know they're about, because I've seen them on like Facebook in the Washington area. I've seen a Japanese import RX-7 FD, which is definitely illegal, but dope. Well, actually, I guess nowadays, yeah, I guess 93 was the first one, so yeah, I guess early generation ones were technically legal, so dope on those. Wrong turn off there. I haven't seen any Japanese import FCs. I've seen a few GTRs about, like R32s. I don't think I've seen an R33 yet. But let's head on in here to O'Reilly's and see if we can find some fuel up. The hardest thing about right-hand drive and getting used to it is not shifting with your left hand. It's not driving on the right side of the road. I mean, driving on the right side of the car on the right side of the road. It's confusing the wipers and the blinkers. Every single time I go to turn the blinker on, and I end up slapping the wiper instead. Never fails. And no matter how many times I drive this thing, it will not, cannot get it to work. Just AC seems a bit warm for some reason. Woo! God, this thing is so fun to drive. It's honestly more fun than the FRS track car to drive. I know I said I wasn't going to track this thing, but I really want to take it out because it is a blast. Maybe once or twice. We'll see. We will see. Because this thing is dying to be pushed to the limits. I hope you guys can hear this. It sounds so fucking good. Jesus. Pushing about 17 PSI right now. Interestingly, with the manual boost controller turned all the way down, so it's just basically straight wastegate pressure. And I always thought the wastegate on these things was like 11 to 14 PSI, but it's consistently pushing 17 PSI all the way up. So I don't know. It's really weird. Maybe it's possible this has a different wastegate spring in it. Possible. I really don't know the history of this car or what's been done to it. I mean, when I got it, the engine bay looked completely stock, but it's really hard to tell. I mean, stuff like that isn't something you can just look at and tell. So it's a possibility. It's hard to say. But 17 PSI is pretty good. It's pushing about, well, we haven't been able to really get it tuned in the upper RPMs because we're running out of fuel, so all I really have to go by is up to 5K RPM, and at 4,500 RPM it's pushing about 237, I think they said, wheel horsepower. So that's pretty good at 4,500 RPM. Once we can get the fuel situation situated next week, we can push it up even further. And honestly, at that point, with the fuel injectors and fuel pump and everything in, we could probably just turn up the boost at that point. I mean, we're just limited by the internals of the engine at this point, and the turbo, I guess. But yeah, we might be able to get to 300 wheel horsepower sooner than I expected. So we'll see. But honestly, if I can get like 260, 280, somewhere around there, I'd be more than happy. I'm kind of done with the engine at this point. I don't want to, like I said, I never intended to have high horsepower to begin with. If I can get 300, that'd be awesome, but it's not like it's a necessity. I probably will upgrade the turbo. I got a little something special brewing in that area. And the exhaust manifold purely for the fact that the factory one is so gross looking, and having something nicer will be good. But I think the next thing we're going to work on is suspension, because it is, I haven't talked about it much. Oh my god, it sounds so fucking good. Oh my god, it sounds so good. I haven't talked about it much, but the previous owner, or one of the previous owners of this car, I actually don't know how many owners there were, but put these like really crappy lowering springs on these stock struts. And not only are the springs complete garbage and have like 0 coilovers will go a long way on this. And I've already been looking around what my options are there. There's several options for the Evo 4, 5, and 6 out there, but nothing like super fantastic. I think I'll probably just go with the spittle a little bit. I think I'll probably just go with the HKS Hypermaxes for the full HKS Tomei build I'm going on this thing accidentally. And then that'd be awesome because I really like those. And it's not, like I said, not a track car, so I don't need like 2-way or 3-way or anything like that. So I'll probably do that. The other option is go with some nice Evo 8 or Evo 9 coilovers and use that special shim that this guy makes to adapt them to the 4, 5, and 6 hubs. So we may do that, but honestly, HKS Hypermax is probably the way I'll go. I can get a pretty good deal on them from Third Ed Tech, so probably do that. And there's definitely something going on with this AC. This AC is, yep, that's my gauge. There he is, dropping off my house. This AC is not blowing very cold. It's possible it needs a recharge. I know the condenser fan's not running right now because the ECU doesn't support it. But we might have to wire that in. I don't know. I'll have to do some digging in this because this AC is, I mean, it's blowing cool, but not cold, if that makes sense. Like, it could be much colder. Alright, so I got this fuel line, got this gauge. Today's my birthday, so I don't know if I'm going to actually do any work on the car. I might just go out with some friends or something. But hopefully in the next couple days, we'll get the FPR installed and check you back in there. Hope you enjoyed this quick drive, and I hope, we'll see when I edit it, but I hope that you can actually hear the blow-off valve and everything. So if not, I'll have to redo this, but yeah. Till next time, keep driving, keep building, keep having fun.